Landowners in Red Deer County are taking action to benefit the environment and their businesses, with support from programs like the Off the Creek program. These people are stewards of the land, protecting environmental values while allowing their operations and use of the land to flourish in progressive and healthy ways.
Our cows would graze this too normally, because they can't get through the creek. So this would be grazing land too. We fenced off everything that had steep slopes, that had creek, that had water. We just fenced off everything that to keep the cows out. That's basically all we did.
And to preserve the area.
We moved here close to 5 years ago. It was late fall, so there was not. We just put up a few wires to start to protect this right then. And we brought in the cows from southern Alberta, where we came from, so we started grazing right away.
And then we decided to start up the White Creek meats. So we decided to raise beef, bison, turkey, chickens and pork.
So far that people who are interested in natural meat kind of like this idea too.
Yeah, we give farm tours and we show.
We give farm tours and we show
the
people.
riparian areas and show what we've done. And a lot of people are very happy that there is people who try to preserve, even in small ways, try to preserve the land.
Yeah, I like natural areas, so that's the only reason.
Yeah, we try to live as green as possible and keep it as green as possible. And we were really thankful for all the programs we could participate in, because it helped us out a lot.
The Growing Forward programs really helped out on putting up fences and doing these kind of things. Yeah, so we fenced off everything and put water lines through the field so they can go in the creek or in the riparian area. The cows, just keep them out. They can go in on the steep slopes because they really ruin that too, you know. And it's not really that hard to do. You just take a lot of hose and little fittings, and you know, you just move the water tank, and hey, just electric fencing, just one wire is enough to keep them out. The first couple of weeks they have to get used to it. The calves are the worst, they break through it easy and stuff, but after a couple of weeks it works good. We keep starting grazing the cows every year in a different part of the field, so some fields get a little bit out of hand because like this year the growth was really good, but you still do it because it's better for the pastures to rotate all those pastures every year to different, not the same, not go in the same time of the year to graze this particular pasture, because that kind of makes everything the same. The grasses don't really come up as good as normal. Weeds, Canadian thistle, doesn't grow as good in tall pasture as when it's bare. So try to look a little bit at that too. Graze pastures with a little more thistle later, or really early and then late, or you know. The same as with cattle, the bison just graze, and we butcher the yearlings when they're about 20 months old, 22 months. Rather than getting them older and bigger for the taste of the meat. The bison is a little harder to roam them free like cows. You're always scared that they go, of course, so you have to really enclose them a little better. So the pasture fences for the bison are 5 string, but just smooth wire with power on them, and that keeps them in. They respect that. We got a pretty good well, it's an old well, and we got that on solar, and we pump the water like through all the pastures, some underground, some lines are just on top of the ground, and so the bison they get from the same line water to now, just on top of the ground. There's water there. So the easy thing with that is you can just move your water and put them in different pastures. There was a grant available years ago, so we took advantage of that to install that system for the cattle. There's no power bill involved in that. Actually, the whole farm is solar. For the house, we use solar too. We just are off the grid. I mean, you're gonna need more freezer space in the future. I might have to expand the solar system more too, so get a little more capacity. into the solar system. Get baby chicks, baby turkeys in the early spring, keeping in the brooder house for chickens for 3-4 weeks, the turkeys 6-7 weeks. And after that they go out in the pasture in cages like this, the chickens as well as the turkeys. And we move them on fresh grass every day. The cows have to go first, yeah, they graze it down. So it's only a couple inches long grass, and that's ideal for those turkeys and chickens to eat. So they eat the grass, they leave the manure in the field. So they get fresh grass, they get little bugs, they either get sunshine of course. So they get a little bit more natural life than in a barn. Well, the customers really appreciate it. It takes a couple of years to get it off the ground, but they really like the meat. The taste is better than, of course, when they're enclosed in a barn. You know, this gives more taste on the meat. So customers really like it, and they pick up on it. They come back and they buy more. I like the idea of having the animals for a couple months in the cold winter inside. To get a little more meat on them, they look a little better. And having the manure stacked up all over the place in piles, I rather had it on a concrete floor too. And then as early as the spring possible is, I'll start bale feeding in the field and the cows spread out the manure in a better way. Grass starts to grow, it takes up all the nutrients. You can have the manure in the field, fine. But in the winter months it doesn't do much. It might just seep through early in the spring. So that's why we kind of just keep them in here, right? And then in the summer the pigs go in here early spring and they start rooting through that manure, because in the winter time we put grain through that manure too. They really root it right down to the bottom and turn it, and so it makes it easy to make a compost out of it. When you stack it, it'll be composted in no time. So normally when they have manure and they want to make compost out of it, they have a big machine, a turning machine that puts it along swaths, puts air in it, and just try to do the same thing with pigs kind of.
In this area, the county of Red Deer planted trees in the spring of 2011. They planted 4,500 trees. And as you see, the trees are really doing well and growing. Jac fenced it all off in order to not let the cows in and preserve all our riparian area. For us it was very beneficial to take part in that program because of the trees they planted. They will all grow up and be beautiful big trees and preserve everything here. We like to build up as many trees and keep as many trees alive as possible to preserve the whole area if we can.
Things change fairly quick, like after 2-3 years you see quite a difference already. Yeah, but the longer you do it, the more effect it has, of course.
For the trees already, the fencing area where we fenced off, you can tell there is a lot of new growth. So, and especially when the trees were planted, you can tell in a few years they will be 4 or 5 feet tall. We hope to enjoy our meat market for a long time. We hope that more people get to know us and that they will come to us. We try to grow on a small scale. We never will be a big operation, but on a small scale try to get as many customers that they can come and buy healthy meat from us. And they talk about a 100-kilometer or 100-mile range. So we have some people from Calgary, some people from Edmonton, some people from Strathmore coming. So it's coming to the point that people to get to know us. And they really appreciate what we're doing.
Discover great land and water management programs for you and your land at rdcounty.ca.